As I mentioned at the beginning of the first video in this short series on Numbers, the English title that we have for the fourth book of the Pentateuch comes from the Septuagint, the book of Numbers. That's not the Hebrew name, but it is an appropriate name, and it's an appropriate name because there are numbers in the book of Numbers, two long sections that catalog the number of Israelites. There's a census right at the beginning of the book, chapter 1. They are at Sinai and they're counting up all the people. Then there's another census toward the end of the book in chapter 26, where they count up all the people again, tribe by tribe. What's interesting in the book of Numbers, that's one way to outline the whole book of Numbers, is to see those two censuses as the pillars of the book. What happens in between, as I mentioned in the first episode, is a lot of rebellion, which leads to a lot of death. When they refuse to go into the land, a plague breaks out and many people die. There's another episode where there's 14,000 plus people that die of a plague that breaks out against Israel because of their rebellion. Many people die of the snake bites when they rebel again, and the Lord sends snakes into the camp, and the snakes bite them. And unless they look at the bronze serpent that's up on the pillar that Moses constructs for them, then they die of snake bite. There's many people, an unnumbered number, but many people die. When they get to Peor, I mentioned the rebellion at Peor, they worship idols, and again a plague breaks out. 24,000 plus are killed at that point. Plus, we know from the time that they refused to go into the land at Kadesh, from that point of rebellion, we know that there's a doom over this whole generation. The entire generation is going to die in the wilderness, apart, of course, from Joshua and Caleb, the two faithful spies who testified to the goodness of the land and to encourage the people to go in, confident that the Lord is going to give them the land in spite of the giants that are in the land. So all that mayhem and death and destruction, the wilderness is a grave. The wilderness is naturally a grave. There's no water there. Nothing grows in the wilderness. There's no food in the wilderness. They can't cultivate things in the wilderness. It's a place of death. And yet, so naturally it's a place of death. Historically it's a place of death for Israel. The whole first generation that comes out of Egypt dies in the wilderness. But that place of death becomes a place of rebirth. And that story is told in the Numbers. 601,000 plus in the first, 603,000 plus in the first census. Then death, thousands dead here, thousands dead here. You get to the second census in chapter 26, 601,000. Virtually the same number at the end of the story comes out of the grave of the wilderness and is going to enter into the land. The book of Numbers, like many books of the Bible, is about death and resurrection. It's about the death and resurrection of Israel, their death in the wilderness, but the Lord is not going to leave them in the wilderness. Death never has the last word. He's going to raise them up from the wasteland and bring them into the promised land. They're going to be reborn as Isaac was born from the dead body and the dead womb of Sarah. So Israel is going to be reborn from the dead wilderness. It's a testimony to the Lord's faithfulness. The Lord is good. The Lord is faithful. God is true, though every man is a liar. It's a statement from Paul. Paul could have drawn that from the book of Numbers because that is the theme of the book of Numbers.